This is the Bax Grant Sports Show presented by Sports Radio America. I'm Bax.
And this is Grant.
Grant, it's Friday. We've finally made it. The end of the week is over. We only had 3 days of school, but even still, that's completely irrelevant. It's Friday.
Still a week.
It is.
Still
the week is over.
We
survived. The sports world continues to go mad while we go mad just within our own non-sort of weird ways, but it still works. Anyway, how you doing, Grant?
I'm still recovering from Monday.
You're still recovering, Grant. Let's move on.
I'm pretty okay.
Are you
took me
sure?
a while. Just imagine what it would be like if the Packers lost a Super Bowl ever in my lifetime.
Well, thankfully the Seahawks prevented us from having to put up with that. Seattle, it's been raining in Seattle since it always rains in Seattle. Never mind. Anyway.
I still think we could have beat the Patriots.
I
beat them in the regular season. But anyway. It's a what if.
It is. It's a good what if. But it's all part of what makes the Bax Grant Sports Show so wonderful. Grant, it's an exciting day today. You know why?
Why is it exciting?
Because it's our 50th episode today.
Oh, really? That it is.
There it is. Right, literally right in front of you. It says 50th episode. Yes, today is our 50th episode, which means, Grant, I wanted to do a little something special.
Oh.
So we have some of our favorite people coming on, obviously. Intern Laura will be here, thankfully. She showed up semi on time today, but we won't hold that against. That's why she's an intern. That's why she's not on salary yet. Connor Christensen will be here to talk about his health tip and a new twist. Grant. You just died. You're like, what are you going to say? No.
I was like, are you going to say it? Like,
I am, yes. And my lovely fiance Liz is going to be here as well today to give the should and should nots for dating a sports fanatic. So I have no idea what she's going to say. So we'll see what happens when she comes on. So I don't know if I should apologize in advance. I'm not exactly sure. But hopefully,
just don't go there.
We'll see what happens when it comes to that point. But before we get into all that, Grant, where can the good people of the world find us on social media?
They can find us on Twitter at BG Sports Show. They can also find us on Facebook at the Bax Grant Sports Show. They can email us at bgsportshow@gmail.com. Also, you can Instagram us any pictures by using the hashtag the Bax Grant Sports Show, and then if you use that, it will show up on Sports Radio America.
It's true, yep. I did a few pictures yesterday. I took a picture of the new Packer paraphernalia on our studio wall, and it showed up on the page. It's really exciting. Don't forget, you can go to our sportsradioamerica.com show page, and you can vote for the weekly poll question. We have our poll question up this week of saying, how far do you think the Wisconsin Badgers are going to make it next season in March Madness? So I think the options are they'll miss the tournament, round of 32, round of 16, Elite 8, Final 4, I think. I think those are the options. Either way, so go and check that out. Let us know your opinion.
They're going to win the whole thing.
Yeah, I really don't think so.
Especially if Decker won't come back.
And that's a big deal, too, Grant, is because the Badgers want to know if their main man is not going to be back or not now that Frank Kaminsky's gone. Greg, with the transition, you're stealing my transitions, Grant.
I didn't even mean to do that. I was like thinking, I'm like, wait.
And you yell at me for that. And I'm like, I didn't mean to do it. It just happened.
But I didn't do something cheesy. Like, I actually...
That's true. Like for Connor, where I'm like, speaking of getting ripped, Connor's here. It's like, it makes sense.
I actually threw in
that was actually a good one.
Decent information.
Yes, it did. So a hot topic right now in the sports world is all of the players from college basketball making their way to the professional scene right now. Now, the one-and-done rule in college basketball is very difficult to comprehend because you want to say, well, why in the world do they need to get all of this money at 18 or 19 years of age? It doesn't make a lot of sense. Why? I don't feel like college basketball should have a one-and-done rule. I feel like it should be a minimum of at least 2 years.
Right, and football has that regulation because
3 years.
3 years. But even though we're seeing, I just saw Jameis Winston is technically a redshirt sophomore, which I
there's so many weird backdoor rules. But
I never really fully understood the redshirt rule anyway. But yeah, I feel like it's really ridiculous, and I feel like some of these Kentucky players aren't going to perform really well, even though they did well in college.
Yes.
If they leave early, they're not going to get the build. They're not going to have any knowledge to build off of it, and I think they're going to go in way too early.
Well, and a lot of that, too. I mean, look at Kentucky. They're sending 7 guys to the NBA draft this year. 7.
Right.
How many of those are true freshmen? It's ridiculous. You don't need to send an 18-year-old. Okay, yes, they're an adult. You don't need, but in the minds of the NBA, you don't need to send an 18-year-old child to play professional. I almost wanted to say baseball. That's the wrong sport. Professional basketball in terms of looking at players like you've got, LeBron James has been in the league for 10-plus years. You look at, a guy the other day, Jason Terry, who plays for the Houston Rockets. He's been in the league for 16 years.
Right.
Dirk Nowitzki, all those guys. If I were any veteran for a long period of time and I see this 18-year-old kid coming in, I don't care how good you are, I'm going to laugh at you and be like, you don't have my respect. Why are you on my team? Sure, you might be able to shoot the ball relatively well. That doesn't mean you're going to just walk in and get a starting job.
Yeah, but then also look at Okafor just coming in for... what's that team? Duke.
Yeah, the team that won the national. You just kind of wash everything blue out of your system. That's why we're wearing red today. You can't wear blue in the studio. It's a new rule, apparently.
Unless it's St. Louis Blues, then I'm okay with it. But
or the New England Revolution.
No, we're not talking about them. Blues are more important.
Come on.
Anyway, Jahlil Okafor just declared for the draft.
He did.
And he's a true freshman.
He is.
Playing one season, and yeah, he had an okay season, or a great season. Depending on... Well, he had it...
He had a great season, Grant. I know it hurts to say it, but he had a great season.
He had a great season, but anyway, Frank Kaminsky won Player of the Year.
Yes, I understand that, but you still can't deny.
But then look at that. You had two players that were in the same position and were battling for Best Player of the Year.
Yes, you did.
Were deciding who was going to win. Yeah, Duke won the championship, but Frank the Tank absolutely dominated him in the post. He was a non-factor almost the entire game because he got in foul trouble early, and he didn't know instinctually how to handle big guys coming at the floor, and that comes with time and practice, and that's what college would give you some time to develop before you get to the pros, where you need to be ready to go. You don't have time in college. You don't do well for a couple of games, and that might be a big deal in college, but it's even more big deal in the NBA. You're going to get completely
destroyed in the NBA. I don't care if
you have a lot of money on the line.
I don't care if you're projected to be a first-round pick or a last-round pick. The fact is, if you're 18 years old and you're still working on your game, my example is not very good, but even still, I thought I was relatively, hot stuff coming in from playing club and high school soccer, and then I went and played college soccer, and I got destroyed. I literally got destroyed because I wasn't used to the speed, I wasn't used to the pace of it. Now I understand the jump from high school to college is completely different, but even still, if you don't spend a numerous amount of years working at the college level, and I had this lofty dream of wanting to play pro soccer, I would have gotten booed out of the building for not being able to keep up because the speed is so different, the technicality, everything that goes with it.
And the speed from college to... The speed going from college sports to pro sports is even quicker. And just imagine, Okafor did have a season with...
Literally one season.
He did have one season, and he got some time used to the speed, but I don't think one season is enough. You're practically going from high school to pro sports.
You really are. You took a year off, played a little fun, you got some national exposure. People don't have a full picture of how good some of these freshman players are because it's we saw him one for 1 year. Well, that's great, but the number one rumored guy to go in the draft, Karl Anthony Towns, averages 10 points a year so far for Kentucky. And he's projected to go number one because he's an overall really good player. I totally get that, but even still, if he averages 10 points a game, last I checked, you have to score points to win games. I know I sound like John Madden every time I say that, but it's true.
You do.
Especially in basketball.
Yeah, and even though you have some players that, you could look at Gasser for Wisconsin. He, to me, he was a great defensive player, but he would only get 2, 3, 5 points a game.
2, 3, 5? Is that really
2, 3, 2, 5?
No,
2 to 5.
How
about that? Is that better? 2 to 5 points a game, and
I'm just trying to help.
Hey, just go away.
Sorry, yes, but anyway, Gasser, yes, he's a good player, but you're right. Yeah. He didn't get a lot of consistent points, so that's probably why, for draft purposes, he might not go high, if he does go at all.
Right, I don't think he's eligible for the draft, or is he?
If he's played more than 1 year, he's eligible.
Oh, well, I guess.
So, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, right. Most people stay until they're seniors or juniors, but unless you're Okafor or 7 Kentucky players.
And the fact, you make the argument too for high school players. Kobe Bryant came out of high school. LeBron James came out of high school. True. And yes, they turned out just fine. But even still, the rare exceptions, though.
Yeah. And you could also look at Michael Jordan. He never did play high school.
Yeah.
basketball.
Exactly. He got cut from his high school basketball team.
And so you really never know what can happen, but then you look at these football players that, and I know it's a different sport, but you look at these football players that do really well in college, and then they absolutely flop in the NFL.
Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, Carson Palmer, Ryan Leaf.
Carson Palmer, you would say, is a flop?
I wouldn't say he's a flop. I feel like he was way better for USC than he's been in the pros.
Yeah, you could argue that, but I wouldn't say he's a flop. He's done
Reggie
relatively
Bush is
well.
A little bit of a flop.
But
he's been plagued with injuries, though.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't. He's not a huge flop, but he didn't live up to the expectations, though. Exactly.
And we get Adrian Peterson. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We're not going to even go there. Anyway, I want to bring in my lovely fiance, Liz. We talk about her a lot. We talk about your wife, Keela. We talk about Liz every once in a while. Hi, Liz. How you doing?
Hi. This is what this feels like.
Exactly. I know. Between two strong, burly men. I know. It's wonderful.
I know.
Anyway, Liz, you have a special treat for us today on our 50th show. Not our anniversary. Good Lord.
Could be an anniversary.
Wow, I'm looking really good. Holy cow. So you have the 5 should and 5 should nots of dating a sports fanatic.
I do. There's probably more.
There usually is, yes.
But I'm just going to stick to those 5 today.
And we appreciate that. So we will let you go ahead and read through your list. Grant and I will do our best to hold our comments until the end.
Okay.
And then we will potentially rebuttal depending on how we view it. So the floor is yours, ma'am.
Sounds good. Like Baxter said, these are the 5 shoulds and should nots of dating a sports fanatic. You're going to try to keep your mouth shut as I do this?
I'll do my very best.
I don't know, these two.
Yeah.
I should have brought Keela, and then we could have been,
I know. We need a wives tell all, basically.
Yeah. So, okay, should. The number 1 should. First, try all the sports that he plays. I know that seems like a very intense kind of thing depending on the sport he plays, but it can vary. So it could vary from, playing pass with the football in the backyard to joining his indoor soccer team, which I've done too. So so just try all the sports he plays. It will show that you're really interested, and he really appreciates that.
I do. I mean, they do.
Should
Somebody
not.
does.
Number 1, should not. Don't interrupt him while he's watching a game. This seems like a very obvious one, but you may get hurt. And I think this is...
Wow.
No, don't worry.
Might be projectile objects flying around.
Baxter, how's it going? Stop!
But really. No,
no.
Don't interrupt him. It seems really obvious, but it's one that us women do quite frequently, and we just need to work on it. It's all a work in progress. We're trying, okay?
It is.
It's hard. We have a lot to say, too. It just happens to be during a game.
Yeah, Keel's like, Grant, can you do something? And I'm like...
It's the 3rd period. The Blues are down by 1, babe. This is kind of important.
What I have to say is important, too, okay?
And then it's the whole, you don't care about my feelings. Like, oh, no, it's not what I meant.
That's not it. That's
Never.
not it. Okay, so it's just number 1.
Yep,
so
that's just
4 more
number
to
1.
go, ladies and gentlemen.
Woo!
4 more to go.
Keep going.
All right, number 2, should. You should have a jersey for each of his favorite sports teams. Okay, and if he really wants you to sport them, he might actually fork over the cash to help you pay for them, too. Yep, so I might be sporting one of these. I also have some other jerseys that are in here, too. Yep, Packers. So make sure that if you go to a game with him, even if you're watching at home, make sure that you have some jerseys that represent his favorite team. Yeah, he might think you look good in them, You might feel like you look good in them. I don't know.
Women's jerseys are hot.
I never thought I'd sport a jersey, but you know what?
It looks good on you.
I do it for him, and because I'm starting to love the game too.
Thank you.
So
I
you're
appreciate
welcome. All right, next, should not. Do not plan other events during sporting games. That's different than talking during sporting games. This is do not plan other events. You don't even know how many times we actually share a calendar through our phones, and you wouldn't believe the many times that I have something in there that's planned, and he's like, do you realize that this is during the Packer game or during, the Revs game or whatever it might be? And I'm like, you know what? I didn't.
I'm a little more lenient on certain things, but Packer games,
Because you know what? My calendar doesn't work like his calendar does. I am like miles ahead planning out, our life together, planning out this event, whatever. And he's like, but that's sports game. I forget. I don't know, unless you put it in the calendar too.
It's okay.
So try not to plan other things during sporting events.
Well, for me, it's like only the big games, and I guess Packer games too, because those are like holy sanctuary.
But if they were that important, you should put them in the calendar, right?
They're in my calendar. I have a sports calendar in my version of our calendar, but we'll have to put that in there for you,
share me
so you can see it. Yeah.
That's good. This is opening up good conversation.
This is
good,
nice
healthy conversation.
This is like premarital counseling. I love it.
How does that make you feel?
Oh, really good. Thank you.
All right. So number 3 of the shoulds. Listen when he talks sports. Yes, listen, not just hearing, because there's a lot of sports that go on, and the guys are always talking, and I should be listening, not just kind of hearing. It's not background noise. I should actually be listening, because when you listen, it shows that you care, and it also brings up points that you can bring up and sound knowledgeable about later. You know, sometimes he'll say something and I'll be listening, and then a couple weeks later I'll bring it up again and he's like, oh, you actually were listening. How did you know this?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Keelan said something, I can't remember what it was, but it was extremely impressive during the Badger game. She said something about, I think, Frank Kaminsky and Sam Decker, and I was like, you said what?
And little did they know that it actually came out of their mouth like 2 weeks ago, but we just sound super knowledgeable now that, you know, it's coming out of our mouths. So you might learn something. Also, listen if he has a sports show. That kind of goes along with that one, listening to sports, listening especially if he has a sports show. He loves when I listen in. I'm sure you love when Keela listens in too.
All the time. Biggest listener we have.
And also, behind every sports fanatic is a woman who improves his craft. So
true.
offer him
true.
feedback, offer him things that are going to help him when he's talking about sports, especially on a show setting.
That's true.
All right, down to the should nots. Do not pretend to know things about sports that you don't know. It will shine through. You will get busted. He will know you don't know things about sports. Just ask. You know, he doesn't. I ask Baxter all the time. I'm like, what does that mean? I would rather ask him than to kind of sound clueless or to not know in the next setting. So just ask him.
Exactly. And as a sports fan, too, it makes you check yourself, too. And you're like, do I actually know what that means? What is offsides in soccer? We're not going to get into that. That's a whole...
Yeah, it took me a long time to realize what that was. So
I played the game for 19 years. I still don't understand offsides.
Yeah. So just ask. Number 4 of the shoulds. Surprise him with tickets. That might be self-explanatory as well, but your guys are going to be happy. And if you get him tickets, maybe he'll bring you along too. He might bring you along too. I don't know. He might want to bring his friends, but maybe he'll bring you along too. We'll see.
Depends on how many tickets you buy.
All right, next should not. Do not bash his teams. Don't do it. Unless... There's an unless.
Okay.
Yeah,
good.
Don't get too happy.
Is there like
Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Don't get too happy. Unless you can back it up with solid facts and a lot of rebuttals. So if you do have a significant other who's a sports fanatic and you don't necessarily agree with the sports they're rooting for, which is okay.
Underwater basket weaving is a real sport. I'm kidding. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, I won't rebuttal that one. I don't know. But just make sure that you're grounded with your facts. You know facts about your team. You can rebuttal. You know, you can keep with the conversation. Otherwise, you might go down. If he's a sports fanatic and more knowledgeable than you are, then you may not win that argument.
Okay.
So, thanks. Number 5 for the shoulds. Allow him time with the guys to talk sports. You will see this inner child growing in him. Let him release that inner child. He needs to have that time. So, just send him off. Send him off with a few drinks with his buddies. Let him talk sports. Let him get him out of his system. And then he's not talking your ear off all the time. I love hearing you talk about sports, actually. It's my favorite thing. But let him...
Is it really?
No.
I'm like, that's total news to me. Wow.
But let him have that time
Breaking
with the guys,
news.
too. Thank you, Richard. And number 5 of the should nots. Do not turn your should and should not list into a fiancé tells all. I won't do that today. I won't do that to you guys.
Thank you.
But there's probably more and more and more shoulds and should nots that we could tell, ladies and gentlemen. If you're a guy who has a woman significant other who is a sports fanatic, which is okay too, it happens, then please share more about your should and should nots, and Baxter's going to tell you exactly how in just a second. Thanks so much for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming on.
I really do appreciate all you guys do. I'm very proud of how far you guys have come, and happy 50th anniversary.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, well, Liz Calhoun, my sweet, wonderful fiance, we appreciate you stopping by, and hopefully we'll have you on again in the future.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Enjoy the rest of your day. See, now, Grant, we could go so many different ways with this, but we, are a little bit over our time, so we have to go to a break, unfortunately. So we'll have to just save our thoughts and feelings for another time. Remember, though, if you do have comments on what Liz said, you can do all of that on social media. Let us know. Twitter's probably the best way to to interact with us, at BG Sports Show. Emails are definitely a good way if you've got a long-winded response for us, bgsportshow@gmail.com. And then, of course, you can also have any comments on Facebook as well at the Bax Grant Sports Show. So, as we go to a break, Grant, the first thing I thought of when she said, don't forget to cheer for his favorite teams, I'm like, well, yeah, unless he's a Cowboys or a Bears fan.
Right.
That was the first thing I thought of in that regards. And then when she said if you have a female significant other that has the sports, I thought of Megan Landvatter. I can't even imagine what her boyfriend must go through because she is like, she makes us look like children. That's how sporty she is. It's ridiculous. Anyway, we're going to go to a break. Connor Christensen's going to be in the studio. He's going to play a little start, sit, and cut. And then he's got his health tip for us as well. We'll be right back. This is the Bax Grant Sports Show. Welcome back to the Bax Grant Sports Show, presented by Sports Radio America. I'm Bax.
And this is Grant.
All right, Grant, a fun first segment as we talked a little bit about college athletes and when it is and when it is not time to go to the professional world. We didn't even get a fully chance to dive into it, but we had an exciting and unique opportunity as my fiance Liz came on. And we're going to have to get Keela on because I want the wife perspective. The fiance perspective, she can still be nice. She's got 50 more days to be, relatively nice. She just got to make it through the wedding, have me sign away all my millions to her, and then she'll, be her true self. Her true colors will show through. I totally understand that. But an interesting segment, was it not?
Oh, yeah, I enjoyed it.
It was.
I saw that it was on the docket, you could say,
the
for the show today,
yes.
And I was like, oh.
Such a fun word.
I like that. I like that idea. You always come up with the best show ideas. Because I'm like not creative at all. And then it's just like... It's just like, oh, like today, there's like a whole lot of new things that we have today. And I was like, oh, this is actually like really cool.
It is. You know who else is really cool?
Your transition.
Connor Christensen, that's who's really cool. Well, we'd like to welcome in Connor Christensen to the studio. All right, Connor, how you doing on this Friday edition of the show, sir?
Good. How are you guys?
Oh, not too bad at all. We're excited to see you here. You're wearing a Brewer shirt.
I am wearing a Brewer shirt.
Now, I understand that you won the shirt, but even still, as a Twins kinda-ish fan, that's a very loose term, I feel like. You're a Twins fan, but you're not.
Yeah, I mean, I dated a girl in high school who was a Twins fan, so I bought the Twins shirt, watched a couple Twins games, got into it, but... once I got to college, I didn't really associate with
like,
the
who are the
anymore.
Twins? Be like, those are the girls that live down the hall. Oh, fair enough. Okay. Fair enough. Anyway, well, Connor, before we get to your health tip, we want to play a new game we're calling Stardom, Sit-em, Cut-em.
Okay.
So Grant has a general idea of who the people are, but I'm going to give both of you, we'll all play because there's only 2 rounds of it, as it were. Would you like to introduce the first one, Grant? Or, well, here, let me explain the rules first, because Grant's like, I have no idea what's going on. The rules for this is we'll have 3 NFL players.
Okay.
It'll be 6 total, but for 2 rounds. Yeah, so there'll be 3 NFL players. You have to pick, it's just for one game.
Okay.
And it'll be for, you have to start one of them.
Okay.
Put one of them on your bench as a backup, and you have to cut one of them.
All right.
Okay?
Yep, makes sense.
Makes sense?
Makes sense.
It's the Super Bowl. That's your game. It's the Super Bowl. Okay?
All
This
right.
is just
Alright.
it's Team A versus Team B. There's no whoever's, okay? Since these players are from different teams. So, your first option in the first one is Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Aaron Rodgers. Who do you start, who do you sit, and who do you cut? I'm happy to lead off if you guys would like a minute to ponder. I'll take that as a yes. Okay. For me, I feel like you cut Peyton Manning, you sit Aaron Rodgers, and you start Tom Brady.
Yeah, I was really debating because, I have my Aaron Rodgers bias, but it's not really too much of a bias because he's a great quarterback.
He is.
But then you have to look at Tom Brady, and he has, 4 Super Bowl rings
He
now?
does.
And
he's kind of a big deal.
He's kind of super clutch just anytime, but especially
next one's going on his thumb.
And he's just super clutch in the Super Bowl. But
he is.
I'm still going to go with I'm going to start Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
I'm going to sit Tom Brady and cut Peyton Manning.
Yes.
Because he's just too old.
He is. He can't even in the Super Bowl.
I don't even remember the last
Connor?
time he's been there.
2 years ago, Grant.
I wish I...
That he won. Fine. Whatever.
He lost the last Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, look how well that went.
Connor.
So I really wish I had gone first because I am starting Tom Brady, sitting Aaron Rodgers, and cutting.
Well, you can go
Manning.
first the next time.
So,
the next round. Okay.
All right. Well, unless I don't.
Unless
I've got nothing.
Okay.
If
All right.
I hide behind Grant, then
So,
just know that
yes.
it's not my turn.
No, it's all good. All right. So the last round, you have all quarterbacks again.
Okay.
This is.
You're not going to want to go first.
You're
I
not
was like,
gonna-
once
you're
you
not.
said that, I'm like, no, you don't.
No, it's we'll still make it the Super Bowl.
Okay.
One game.
Okay.
Tim Tebow, Jay Cutler, Johnny Manziel.
Okay.
Those are your three.
So, yeah, you don't want to
you
go
like
first.
to do that?
I want to go first.
Okay, go right ahead.
Okay, so it was Tim Tebow, Jay Cutler, and
Johnny Manziel.
Johnny Manziel.
Yes.
So I am going to start Tim Tebow.
Yeah, Timmy.
I am going to sit Johnny Manziel, and I am cutting Jay Cutler.
Oh, but he's such a good Christian, though. He gives up all his possessions. I
Yeah,
feel like because
yeah.
of that,
Well,
you gotta look down on favor of
yeah,
him.
you got to bring that joke back.
I know.
Yeah,
it
'cause-
took you. Okay, I need to
okay.
tell you for a second
So-
because I remember the joke I told you.
Right.
Yeah, I showed it to Connor yesterday, and it took him about 5 minutes
Oh,
before he
geez.
finally got it.
I was on 3.5 hours of sleep. All right.
He was like,
I didn't,
No excuse.
I read it and I was like, wait, why did he give up all of his stuff?
Yeah, I'm like, oh, why?
And then I gave the phone back to Baxter, who's just like, he doesn't want anything to do with me anymore. He's just like, I'm done with you, Connor.
Yeah.
And then like two minutes later, I was like, oh, he throws interceptions.
Packer fans are like, do you get it? like, yes.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, so Grant, who's starting, sitting, and cutting for you?
I will also start Tim Tebow. I will, although I'm going to sit Jay Cutler and cut Johnny Manziel for the reason that, yeah, Jay Cutler is still, awful, but he actually did get to a Super Bowl once, and he has been proved. Yeah, the Bears.
Wait, when
That
Bears-
was Rex Grossman.
No, yeah.
Was it Rex Grossman?
That
I
was.
was about
We
to
thought Jay
say.
Cutler was bad. Rex Grossman was even worse.
Oh, I thought.
I'd take Jay Cutler for Rex Grossman. No, it was Rex Grossman.
Well, it was that long ago.
He's got more experience than Manziel, though. You can still use that experience.
I was like, my point was he has more experience.
Yes.
Even though I
Yes.
guess he hasn't been to the Super Bowl, he has been into an NFC Championship
He
game.
has,
I
yes.
know that for a fact.
There you
so he
go.
was one game away from the Super Bowl.
He was.
But he has gotten his team, you could say deep or not, whatever. But
Yes.
he's gotten his team to the NFC Championship game, even though they did lose. And Johnny Manziel has gotten his team 2 losses and rehab. So that's
Johnny
why
Rehab for life.
That's why I would cut Manziel.
Okay, all right. For me, I'm going to start Tebow just because he has the power of God. The power of God compels him. I'm going to. God, it's like what's the lesser of two evils?
Exactly.
Am I playing Madden with these characters?
Nah.
No, I have zero
You're in
control
the
over
Super
this.
Bowl. You are
Zero
the head
man.
coach.
I have zero control. Gosh, who do I trust more? I don't really trust either of them. But so I'll start Tebow. I will sit Jay Cutler just for his experience, and I'll cut Manziel as well. I just feel like that makes the most sense in the long run.
I was just hoping that Tebow wouldn't get injured. That's
true.
The bench player wouldn't have to come in.
Yeah,
and
that's
win.
the real thing. We're hoping
That's-
to the
yeah.
sweet Lord in heaven that Tebow doesn't get hurt, because then, yes, that means you bring in whoever. All right, Connor, you've got 1 minute for your health tip this week, sir. I would like to ask you what you did last time, and I don't even remember.
It was.
Oh, get a buddy.
Yeah,
get a buddy.
Get a buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, man.
Do you have your exit buddy? Yes. Okay.
Man.
Great movie.
Exit buddies. Okay.
All right.
All right,
then.
a minute on the
Okay.
clock. God, we need help. Anyway, ready, go.
All right. Today I'm getting a little bit more sciencey than I normally do.
Yeah,
but
I'm gonna leave.
I'm going to explain when it is best to eat protein or take a protein shake or whatever you want to take before your workouts or after your workouts. So I'm going to get into kind of the science behind it. So what the thought in the science world is that protein supplements. All right, settle down.
Sorry.
Protein supplements actually do really, really help you build muscle faster than if you wouldn't take it. Now, there are a lot of other things out there that say, oh, this will help, but protein is actually scientifically proven. You can go to PubMed, type in protein and skeletal muscle, and you'll get PubMed. Okay. PubMed. It's the place to go.
I just want to make sure I heard you. Okay.
So during workouts, your blood vessels open up and allow increased blood flow to those areas. Makes sense. You take protein directly before or during your workout so that they are taken directly to the muscles that are working, and that would be the best time to take your protein. Directly before or during your workout.
All right. So protein. That's what I heard out of that was just lots of protein.
Before or during, not after.
Like not after? Solid.
Well, see, I used to think...
I have the mango smoothie with protein every time I'm done, though.
Just get it before.
Just get it before
Just get it before.
Wow, that's going to throw me off.
Take your smoothie to the weight room.
Take my smoothie to the weight room. Okay.
No one will laugh at you.
No one will laugh at me.
Look at this guy with the smoothie.
Yeah, I'll be like, hey guys, as I'm like, just curling like 150.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Baxter, where are you from? Florida?
No. Exactly. I'm from Green Bay. Anyway. All right. Well, thank you, Connor. We appreciate you stopping by.
You don't blush as much when I come on as when Liz comes on. I walked on and I was expecting, this big old, twinkle in the eye, and then I got nothing after Liz gets so much love there.
When you have a feature act like that, it's hard for me to get excited for anything else after that.
I know.
But what did I do? Why do I deserve getting flipped?
Yeah, why did you flip him?
Because
he's a nice guy. Yeah. He's wearing a polo. He's looking good.
I said if the Badgers lost, I was gonna flip Joel. So
yeah, we gotta find Joel. That's why Joel was supposed to be on the show today, and then he's like, "Oh, he found out you wanted to flip him, and he had a business meeting." Sure, you did, Joel. No, I'm kidding. All right, well, thank you so much.
Both. That'll work.
Sure, thank you. Whee! All right. Okay. Where can the good people of Twitter find you, Connor?
They can find me at ConnorDC126.
All right, ConnorDC126, your health expert, and we'll have your fight corner on Monday, sir. Yes, we're looking forward to that. All right, enjoy your weekend, sir, and we'll catch up with you soon again. Thank you.
Yep, thanks for having me, guys.
Anytime, man. All right, Grant, are you ready for your rant, sir?
I'm ready.
Oh, yeah. I love it when you rant.
And it's going to be another positive thing.
Stop. I'm going to just, no. No.
Stop the music.
Why are you...
Stop everything.
It's not Grant's Sunshine Rainbows. This is Grant's rant.
I can talk about whatever I want. You can rant about something positively,
Fine. Apparently, I don't know. So, okay, go.
You can go look up the definition.
Okay.
Go look up the definition. Now.
My fiance's a teacher. I'm sure she'll just be like, yeah, you can do this. I'm like, okay, sorry. That's why I'm in sports. I don't comprehend real life. Anyway, ready? 30 seconds on the clock?
I'm ready.
All right, and get set, go.
The LA Kings, who are the defending Stanley Cup champions of last year, are officially out of the playoffs, and I could not be more thrilled.
Get thrilled.
They finished the season 5-4-1 in the last 10 games, and before then, they kind of just dropped the ball. They did not have the best season.
Drop the puck.
You could say drop the puck. They finished with 93 points with only one game left. They are 4 points behind the Calgary Flames, so there's no chance for them to catch up. They are done for the year.
They had like a hockey horn, like, I don't have a good... Okay, here, I have the official definition of rant, courtesy of my fiance. Speak or shout at length in a wild, impassioned way.
Doesn't say anything about being negative nor positive.
And then look at the next thing, though, for noun. A spell of ranting, a tirade.
That could also
That's
be
the
positive.
rant I want. I want the noun version of rant, not the verb version of rant. I'm kidding. Thank you.
I guess technically the way we use it is a noun. Because it's not verbed in the context we use it.
It's not verbed. We go to college. All right, we're going to take a fast break. When we come back,
I'm
smart. 5 teams, Grant, 5 NFL teams that fansided.com thinks are going to drop in 2015. We'll talk about that, and intern Laura's here as well. I'm always excited to hear what her thingamabopper is. This is the Bax Grant Sports Show, presented by Sports Radio America. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Bax Grant Sports Show, presented by Sports Radio America. I'm Bax.
And this is Grant.
Grant, we were headbanging. We were having a good old-fashioned time.
Song.
That was a great song.
That was good.
I just needed some, screamo in the background. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Something.
I could do that for a living.
You could. Don't give up your day job.
Next lead singer in Metallica right here, ladies and
Grant
gentlemen.
Coppersmith. Yeah! All right, anyway, Grant, so the NFL, it seems to be the theme of the day, there's an article out from fansided.com, courtesy of Andrew Garda. So we appreciate you writing this article, Andrew Garda. He has 5 NFL teams poised for a fall in 2015. Now, as you know, there were some hot teams in 2014. Some teams that surprised people, the Dallas Cowboys being one of those teams where they were like, their defense is going to be atrocious, they're going to be lucky to break 500, and then they almost made it to the NFC Championship game. They surprised a lot, but it also helped that DeMarco Murray was the running back.
Right, and it also helped that their offensive line was as good as it was.
Yes.
And they did do extremely well in the regular season, but some might be shocked to find that they do find a spot on this list.
They do, but we will get to that in a second. So, starting at number 5, the Denver Broncos. It makes sense to me, because the Denver Broncos, Peyton Manning is old, Grant.
Right.
He's real old, and he just does not have the same Peyton Manning-esque that he used to. All of us cut him when we played Stardom Sit-'em, cut him with Connor Christensen last segment. Sorry, I just forgot how to speak my name.
What's English?
Exactly.
We're having a problem with that
We
today.
really are. Maybe it's too much coffee?
I don't drink coffee,
Because I've
though.
had coffee, you haven't.
Maybe I need coffee and you need less. Maybe we switch roles.
Less is more, like Charmin?
Or maybe, cut you off completely and then just have me go crazy, but that might be a bad idea.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so the Denver Broncos, it makes sense. They have Demaryius Thomas coming back, which is good, but he's franchise tagged, which means he's probably not super thrilled by that. They lost Julius Thomas to the Jaguars, so his career's over. Their secondary suffered a little bit as well, but it makes sense. I can see the Broncos not winning their division next year.
Right, and how much do you think that was affected by them just absolutely getting trounced in the Super Bowl? Because I felt like they still felt effects from that.
They were.
Season.
Even last year. That was how bad the Seahawks really went to town on them.
And I feel like they were just mentally demoralized, and I don't know.
I would be.
I just really felt like the effect from it from Peyton Manning, because he started off the season fairly similar to how he played all of 2 seasons ago, but then I'd say middle, and then definitely at the end of the season, he did not look like the Peyton Manning that we know.
No.
And if that carries into this season, I can definitely see the Denver Broncos not being anything of a factor.
Exactly. Well, we're talking about the 5 NFL teams poised for a drop in 2015, courtesy of fansided.com and Andrew Garda. The next team on the list, number 4, is the Dallas Cowboys. Now, it makes sense. You lose DeMarco Murray, the workhorse. He had 1,100 yards before contact last year. 1,100! And they replace him with C.J. Spiller? What? That just doesn't make sense. The offense is not going to be on the same. I'm sorry, Darren McFadden. I know things.
I was like,
I don't know.
C.J. Spiller?
Yeah, C.J. Spiller, a.k.a. Darren McFadden. I was working my way into that.
Didn't know he was called that.
I was that's... I'm going to go in the corner now. I
That's
can't.
okay. Apparently, Rex Grossman made it to the Super Bowl with the
did.
Bears
He did.
instead of Cutler, so I mean, whatever.
Exactly. But either way, though, it's the fact that Dallas has lost some key players this offseason, which makes a lot of sense. Their defense was dangerous last year, but at the same time, they had some mishaps. Des Bryant got franchise tagged. He's back. Yep. Tony Romo returned, so that combo will still be lethal. Now, whether or not Darren McFadden will have the same success that DeMarco Murray had will be yet to be seen.
I think it's more, and we've said this a bunch of times, but I think it's more of the offensive line. And you said it, 1,100 yards before contact that DeMarco Murray had last year. That's really not all that difficult, actually, if you put it in perspective. If you're running through this giant gaping hole, and maybe when you reach the second level, you'll have to deke out some players, but...
Really? You just used a hockey term to tell about juke?
You can deke.
You juke.
You can deke.
You juke in football. You don't deke.
You can deke in football.
No one's ever said
you
deke.
You can deke in football.
No, it's juke.
You can deke. You can deke. Anyway, that's a debate for a later day. You can deke. Anyway, once you get to the second level, you can juke/deke. You need to do that, but any running back can really do that. And if you have a good enough offensive line, I feel like it's not really hard to be this successful. Yeah, you still need to be talented, and definitely Marshawn Lynch has been effective after getting hitting
because he's beast
after
mode.
contact. Yeah, exactly.
Eddie Lacy could be argued with that as well because he just is great at lowering his shoulder when
But
he decides to actually
But
try.
he has yet to play an NFL snap, so I have not.
Who's that?
Eddie Lacy? Or I'm thinking... I mean, not Eddie Lacy. For some reason, I was thinking of the Badgers right now.
Let me go to the 2014 Green Bay Packer media
Eddie
guide
Lacy
here,
is
Grant.
a running back for the Green Bay Packers. I was thinking of the Badgers running back.
Melvin Gordon?
I was thinking Melvin Gordon.
I'm
Badgers
sure?
right now. I'm really Badgers right now.
You really are. You're pro Badgers
I'm
right
really
now.
Badgers right now. That's how upset I am.
Oh,
I know.
there he is. Eddie Lacy, running back for the Green Bay Packers. Is that that's a Pro Bowl sign next to his name.
I still think he's a little overrated. Anyway, he's overrated in my opinion. I don't like him. He's not...
Lacy?
Yeah.
He's a little overrated. I'll be honest with that. Anyway, before we go into a Green Bay Packers segment, the next team on the list before we get completely out of topic is Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I'm a little surprised by this, but at the same time, it makes sense.
Right. We really don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see how the Legion of Zoom is going to do. Zoom. I really like that name.
It does.
I really like it.
I wonder if Seattle's like, hey,
stop.
Hey.
But it's going to be really interesting. I think their season can go 50-50 because they did miss the playoffs last year, but they went 10-6.
They did.
And they just missed the playoffs by
because
probably
Nick Foles
a game.
got hurt and Mark Sanchez didn't do an awful job, but their defense was
But it's
really...
Mark Sanchez and...
Yeah, and then Chip Kelly. Now there's these vague rumors. Vague. I'm going to throw that one more time. Vague rumors that Johnny Manziel might be headed over to Philly because it's rumored that Sam Bradford and Johnny Manziel might be traded for each other and some possible draft picks. But it's this weird rumor going around right now. Nobody knows if it's actually going to happen.
And then there's people also saying that Eagles should pick up Mariota. I don't know how possible that is anymore. Yeah, this guy's always saying that. But
Fly War Eagle.
The Eagles season is like a huge question mark right now.
It's
really interesting what they've done this offseason.
And they could do, like you said, they could win it all next year, or they could win 3 games.
Awful. Yeah.
And because Chip Kelly's like, oh, I've got this brainchild. Yeah, how's that working? It's kind of like Nixon with the economy. How's that going to work? Reaganomics. That worked out well, didn't it? Anyway, Pittsburgh Steelers.
So the sports show.
Yes, Pittsburgh Steelers, the next team on the list. It makes sort of sense. Le'Veon Bell will miss the first 3 games of the year due to suspension. Ben Roethlisberger just signed a new 5-year deal, which I think is completely ridiculous. He's not worth that much money. He's not going to even be in the league 5 more years, let alone deserve to even sign a contract of that nature. Now, they just had sad news as Troy Polamalu has announced his official retirement from the NFL. So they lose probably one of the best safeties ever to play the game.
That's really surprising, actually, how long he's been around. Like, I felt like
he's got great hair.
He does. He has fantastic
gotta
hair.
throw that out there.
I remember when they were playing the Packers in the Super Bowl. I can still have some knowledge. Don't worry.
Yes.
That my dad kept on saying, I don't know, the power of Troy's hair might be able to repel us, and thankfully that wasn't an issue.
Yes.
But he does have fantastic hair. Anyway, but
head and shoulders for days.
Going back to the Pittsburgh Steelers as a team as a whole, I always feel like people are marking them as a team that's going to fail next season. They're but in the same effect, they're like the Chargers, but a couple wins better. Whereas they're always kind of like they're good, but then at the same time they're kind of like they still have weaknesses, but they're just like tough. The Steelers are extremely tough, so I feel like they're still going to be able to get wins and have over 500
but that division
season.
is very tough and hard
is.
to play in, so I could see like a Cincinnati or a Baltimore claiming the division title next year.
Right.
Now, the last team on this list for the 5 NFL teams poised to fall in 2015, courtesy of Fansided.com and Andrew Garda, is the Houston Texans. Now, it's weird because they were 9-7 last year. How do you fall from being 9-7 if they didn't have a good enough year as a whole?
Well, their offense is a big question mark.
And that's the big thing. They lose Andre Johnson. Who's their quarterback next year? I don't even think Houston knows. I think the guys that are rumored to be the starting quarterbacks don't even know if they're even going to be the starting quarterback or not. They might go draft a guy. There's rumors of, all these veteran NFL quarterbacks that might be switching teams. Phillip Rivers' name comes to play. Maybe Sam Bradford will end up down in Houston. I have no idea what they're doing with any of those players. So the opportunities are there. J.J. Watt can only do so much.
Right.
Unfortunately,
He's only one guy.
He really is, unfortunately. Even though he can probably tackle about 7, he's only one human being. So
he could probably play every position on defense.
He really could. It'd just be like, all right, JJ, you would go out there and you just hit people for a while, and we'll call it a day and come play off. And just have him play both sides. It's like high school. Have him play both sides.
He'll be
of
the
the
one-man team that wins. He'll be the first one-man team that wins the Super Bowl.
Why not? What's wrong with that? It's very possible. All right, Grant. Well, any final thoughts before we move on to intern Laura?
I want to get into it.
I know, I bet you do. We all love intern Laura, and it's exciting, as it always is. Wednesdays and Fridays. I know what's going on. Wednesdays and Fridays, intern Laura joins us in the studio to offer her thingamabopper. So, intern Laura, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fabulous.
I'm good, guys. Hi.
Hi. How you doing?
You're so mean.
How is that mean?
I feel like you're making fun of my voice.
No, we're just making fun of how nice you are. Stop being nice.
If you want to make it in sports, you can't be nice.
Okay, I'll be mean. I'll practice.
Perfect. Yeah. Well,
just imagine hockey. They beat each other up for fun and say good job after they knock somebody out.
Next Wednesday, she's gonna come be like, "Hi, Laura. Hey, guys. Oh gosh. Okay. Sorry."
Taking testosterone pills and stuff.
Get in the gym with Connor. He'll figure it out. Oh, we didn't ask Connor that question we were gonna ask him. Connor, come back. You're still in the studio.
This is my segment.
For 2 seconds. It involves your segment from last time, though. We'll just pack it all in. Okay. When Laura was here on Wednesday, she talked about toe wrestling.
Okay.
And we wanted to ask you if there's any specific workout plans to work your toes.
To work your toes.
To work your toes. Because they have to get stronger toes.
You have specific. You have, if it's like, I don't know what toe wrestling is. Is it like,
it's like
just
the
big toe?
Just the
big toe.
Just the big. You actually have one specific muscle that works your big toe solely. It's the hallucis longus, I believe. Don't quote me on that one.
You made that up.
No, it's not. That's an actual thing. It's an actual thing.
Sure.
Oh my goodness, it is.
The hocus
Look it up. Google
it.
Google it. Big toe muscle.
Okay. So there is a way, though.
Yes, there is one.
That's all we were
was
wondering.
I right, Liz? I was right. I was right.
Okay.
Anyway,
that's all we were
yes,
wondering.
No,
Okay.
you can do a specific flexion or extension of your big toe in order to make it stronger because you do have a muscle that works it. So yes, give me enough time and I could give your big toe a 6-pack. I couldn't, but I could make it stronger.
Okay, thank you. That's all we wanted to know. Away with you. Thank you. Anyway, all right. So Laura, sorry to. Do you want your music again? I can give you your music again. Okay, I'll give you your music again.
Thank you.
Okay, there you
go.
So, Laura,
welcome.
Anyway, welcome back. Hey, Laura, welcome to the
you.
show. Good to have you. Intern Laura, she offers her thingamabopper Wednesdays and Fridays for us on the Bax Grant Sports Show. All right, Laura, you have something fun for us today, as you always do.
Yes. It's something mildly fun. It's something that I'm excited about.
That's all that matters.
Well,
our feelings don't matter.
This is true. But this is about kind of ancient, the Olympics way back when. And I was really interested to see...
I'm Bob Costas, reporting live with my pink eye. Sorry, continue.
My mom has pink eye right now.
Well, Baxter is just now 2 feet tall.
All right, I'm going to go on a vacation.
So the Olympics, the ancient Olympics. What I was going to say about
Please.
that is that, okay, I ran track in high school, so I find this very interesting. There's just all sorts of cool running things that they would do. And actually, when they would long jump, they would hold weights in order to help propel them forward. Then they would throw them right before they landed. I thought that was cool. But also, they had something called pancration. I was expecting maybe something from Connor. Maybe he's heard of it, but I saw no response in his face. It's a type of fighting. Like, boxing originated in Greece as well, but pancration also did, which is basically boxing to the extreme, which means that you can pretty much do anything you want except for gouging their eyes out.
So kind of like MMA. Oh,
Yup, and so they just kind of fight. They don't fight to the death.
Give him the chair.
Yeah.
Give him the chariot.
I was just about to say that. Throw the chariot at him.
Think faster.
Chariot races were
Past tense.
English today at the Bax Grant Sports
Once
Show.
upon a time.
No, chariot racing was an event that they had in the ancient
Ben-Hur. We all saw
Olympics.
Ben-Hur.
I didn't.
The whatever thing. I thought it was like fighting to the death with pancakes or with pancakes.
I thought it had something to do with like pancreases. I'm like,
the first person to rip out the
Let her
other
finish.
person's
The word actually in the original Greek means with all your might. So not pancakes, thank you. Unless pancakes comes from that word as well. In that case, I look at pancakes completely differently now.
Pancreation, okay.
Pancration, not
Pancration.
No,
the most powerful of all cakes, the pancake.
Yes. Huzzah.
Okay. So that's pretty much it. I just wanted to tell you about pancration and chariot racing and how excited I was about ancient Olympics.
I appreciate that.
Well, how nice of you to appreciate
And please apologize
Thank
to
you.
your mother. I know she's one of our listeners.
I will.
Mama Weiland, I'm really sorry. I hope your pink eye gets better. I did not mean to offend anybody. I feel
Stop being
awful.
rude.
I feel awful now. I'm just
that
like
was just
He
mean.
blushed and everything.
I just like sank under the table. I'm like, I'm done. We're gonna have to phone a friend to finish the show. I'm done. Oh my gosh. Anyway.
Yeah, we'll have Connor step in for you. You're replaceable.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. The Connor and Grant show, I don't know if it rings as well.
Yeah, it does.
You'll figure something out. It's all about
We don't
branding.
need that useless X that's in your name.
Exactly. Just bring, the Q's silent in Baxter. Anyway, so thank you so much for stopping by, Intern Laura. We're all going to a hockey game tonight again. We're going to the Milwaukee Admirals game.
So excited.
Woo!
I am very excited.
What was this?
This was excitement.
Excitement. Okay. Well, when they score a goal tonight, I want to see you just be like,
Nikki, we have video now, so I don't have to just worry about my voice. I have to worry about my hands.
It's true. All right. Well, thank you so much. We'll see you at the game tonight. Have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, you too.
Oh, thanks. You too. Appreciate it. Oh, my goodness. All right, Grant. Well, it's been a fun 50th edition of our show.
I actually really enjoyed it.
Probably one of my favorite shows.
It was fun.
I haven't had this much fun since Josh Scheibe was on our show.
Oh,
and that was like a fortnight ago.
He's just too busy for his own good.
He really is.
And he loses his voice half the time.
I know. He's Batman, that's why. That's the real reason why Josh Scheibe.
Yeah, he's actually going to be performing as an ex-Batman. Yeah, if you didn't know, he's getting ready for the voice.
Anyway, okay, so Grant, it's been another exciting edition of the Bax Grant Sports Show. For those of you watching us on thecube.com, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys all again on Monday. For those of you listening on Spreaker, we really appreciate that as well. Remember, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9 a.m. Central. And then, of course, if you're tuning in now over your lunch break at 12 to 3 Eastern on sportsradioamerica.com, TuneIn Radio, or Live 365. We love all of you very much. Keep the support coming. Let us know what you thought about intern Laura's pancake fighting, something to do with your pancreas, I'm not sure. And then especially with Liz, my lovely fiance, when she had her talk about your should and should nots of dating a sports fanatic.
That. That was very true.
They were very
true.
I appreciated her. So thank you so much to everyone that came on. Thank you to all of you. We're 50 shows strong, not 50 shades strong, one of the two. I'm not exactly sure what happens. Anyway, that's the calendar for Christmas. You're not going to want to miss that. Anyway, for intern Laura, Connor Christensen, and my lovely fiance Liz, that's Grant Coppersmith. I need to go because I'm not allowed to be on the air anymore. I'm Baxter Colburn. Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll see you all soon.